Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the virtual Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama, or at least near Talladega, Alabama, for this, the Talladega 212 for the Untitled Friends League. 32 drivers at the bare minimum here tonight for race number 5 on the season, part of the Dash for Cash series that kicks off here at Talladega and takes us through the next 4 races. Glad to have you along for the ride, everybody. Jacob Pitts, Caleb Hoffman here with you. Zach Johnson is our producer for tonight, and a lot of familiar faces for folks tuning in for us tonight, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's Talladega. I mean, how else can you describe it except it's its own force of nature? This is going to be, what you expect out of Talladega with the Xfinity car is going to be a lot of fun, lots of drafting, lots of pack racing here tonight. Excited to get it going.
Let's take a look at our field rundown here from Talladega. Starting on pole, Leighton Sabile in the number 25. Rajah Caruth lines up on the outside. Then it's Tristan Hagenstein in row number 2 with Jake Poulin on the outside. Corey Heim and Ryan Vargas line up in row number 3. Adam Codal and Brad Perez in row 4. Justin Malillo and Manon Rahman in row 5, rounding out the top 10.
Starting 11th here from Talladega tonight is going to be John Palmeri. Starting next to him is going to be Preston Pardis in the number 42. Then we got Eric Webler and Parker Chase in row number 7. Nick Olson, Jonathan Taylor going to make up row 8. Chris Wetz, you see him highlighted in that Dayglow orange. He's a Dash for Cash driver tonight. Ryan Pistana starting next to him. Jesse Love and Peter Acumano round out your top 20.
Dylan Poteet is in 21st. Christian Eckes will start 22nd. Gabe Herschel starts 23rd. Case Kallenbach starts 24th. Austin Moore and Mark Sabetka in row number, 8?
There 13. He goes.
You see the guys that are marked in that yellowish color. Almost looks like somebody drew over it with a highlighter. Those are the guys eligible for the Dash for Cash. Eckes, Moore, Farr, and Chris Wetz are the 4 drivers. Kevin Reed, Sean Farr there in row 14. Anthony Rotolo and Andrew Schwartz round out the top 30. And your final 2 on the field, since Jack Wood registered but is not here. Matt Wishart and Arnold Columbia are shotgun in the field, and Columbia not on the racetrack. So we've got 31 cars currently rolling behind the pace car, getting us set to go. Let's take a quick look at the points coming into tonight. After the Dash for Cash series is done, we go to the playoffs. Corey Heim has won 3 of the 4 races to start this season, and he sits high atop the point standings. He did not win last week. That win belonging to Austin Moore. He led 2 laps after Leighton Sabile dominated the race. Moore came away with the checkered flag. He gets to race for the extra $100 in the Dash for Cash tonight, as well as Wetz, Eckes, and Farr. That was our top 4 from a week ago at Daytona. Looking at our schedule moving forward, we're at Daytona tonight. We're at Talladega tonight. Daytona a couple of weeks ago. Next week, we're at The Rock for 125 laps. Then we go to the Brickyard to end the month of July. And Hickory Motor Speedway then at the start of August for the series. That wraps up the Dash for Cash. Sends them into the playoffs, where they'll head to Watkins Glen, Bristol, Darlington, and then end the season at Five Flags Speedway on September 7th. So here we go. Pace truck makes its way to pit road. Leighton Sabile and Rajah Caruth are on the front row for the start here from Talladega. 80 laps up on the board, 212 miles. Glad you're watching. Green flags in the air. Let's go racing from Talladega. Already an aggressive start through turns 3 and 4. Corey Heim gets bodied onto the apron. Tristan Hagenstein up the middle, 4 wide, ping-ponging off of Rajah Caruth. Leighton Sabile will lead lap number 1. 79 laps to go. Sabile leads the first one. I don't know if he'll lead anymore because he's got a hungry pack of drivers on his heels into one.
Absolutely. You saw him there almost going 4, almost 5 wide right off turn 4 right there. This second high line hard charge, and that's Tristan Hagenstein with Ryan Vargas right behind him. They get a huge shove of momentum going into turn number 3 here.
Hagenstein leading the outside line. Ryan Vargas pushing to help, as well as Rahman there in the 44. Sabile down on the bottom with the help from Corey Heim. He's got the 33 behind him as well. That's Adam Kodal. Here they come back down through the tri-oval, headed to the start-finish line. Justin Malillo there in that 53, running right behind as well. Hagenstein's clear. He'll lead lap 2.
Big shove from the third line coming. That was Rajah Caruth. And that was Jesse Love pushing him. They got a huge shove of momentum. Looks like it's stalled out for now, but that's something to keep an eye on if they can get something going on that third line. Oh, Justin Malillo.
Yeah, Parker Chase cut down across him. And now here we go. Vargas gets shuffled out of the deck. 4 wide headed to turn number 3. You need more than 2 cars, it looks like.
Jesse Love.
That outside, Jesse Love really sideways. Holding on to the race car, though. Lost a little bit of momentum, but he has Vargas behind him to try and get him back up to speed. And he's just going to say, enough of this. Go down to the bottom and get out of town. Side by side, though. Here comes Sabile around the outside. Down to the stripe. He's got help from that 44 of Kodal. And they're clear back out in front. Got 44 of Rahman, rather.
Yeah, Sabile got hooked up to the 44 of Rahman right there. Oh, contact! Tristan Hagenstein gets on the apron and saves it somehow. Field fans out. I don't know how that wasn't the big one.
That was Kevin Reed that got sideways there. Reed then came down into Hagenstein like it wasn't even there. They make it work, though. And Kevin Reed right now in that 10. He's a man on a mission down on the bottom in the top 5.
Yeah, that should have been about 1.5 big ones there through turns 1 and 2. Not sure how the field kept it clean, kept it going, but here we are. And up at the front, Preston Pardus with Rajah Caruth hooked up to the back of him. He's going to take the lead now.
You can see how this pack has thinned out. Just a little too aggressive early on, and people say, all right, enough of this. We're going to the back. We're getting out of here. Preston Pardus takes the lead. Love now leading that outside line. Rajah Caruth stuck in the middle. Nobody wants to work with the driver of the 13. As they wiggle their way down the back straightaway. That outside line with the charge. Corey Heim pushing Jesse Love. Here comes Kevin Reed, though. Pulls out a line, goes to the middle.
Yeah, and I'm just not sure if you want Jesse Love leading your line right now. That car has been handling very poorly. Poor Tristan Hagenstein almost gets driven through again. They keep it green. Wow.
It's the 3rd time in 2 laps. 80 laps on the board, remember. We're 5 laps in. Rajah Caruth leads that outside line. Help from Ryan Vargas. Side by side for that 4th spot with Kevin Reed there in the 10. As here comes Sabile, pulls out a line, trying to take the charge from Raj, and he's just going to go to the outside, say no thank you, and put him 3 wide.
Yeah, and absolutely. That's what's so fun about these Xfinity cars. I mean, it feels like, you know, you might have to be hooked up to the back of a guy for a little while, but you can get a huge surge of momentum in these things. And you can see that here. We've seen a few guys duck out into this 3rd line and get that surge of momentum to carry them forward. It's a really fun car track combo, as we've seen so far here tonight. Can go basically anywhere you want.
Rajah Caruth not quite able to lead at the line, I don't think. No, he did beat him out by 2 1/1000ths of a second over Preston Pardus. So Rajah Caruth leading on that outside line. Sabile to help. Preston Pardus on the bottom. Rahman there right behind him.
Wow, and you can just see how these guys are wiggling right now. That was that bottom line. That was Kevin Reed, I believe. Just lots of cars that are not handling very well right now.
One car blinking in the background. Here comes Sabile. Back out in front. Hardest to help him.
Man, Raja trying to get something going with Jesse Love. Those two have been hooked together for quite a few times now, and it seems to be working out for them. They've worked their way back up to the front of the second line. '21 peeking out now, looks like. Wow, and they get
Really
three.
Loose.
Yeah, just wiggling all over the place. Oh, Rahman ducking out of that pack.
Oh, Pardis! Preston Pardis around hard into the inside wall.
And
Down on the inside, we stay green. I think with him, I think he blew up.
There was something that happened there. Yeah, got out of control. I'm not sure if it was a stack-up effect from Rahman ducking out of line, but tough for Pardis for sure. He didn't really have much to do there as well. Raja Caruth on the front stretch almost just chopped the nose off of Corey Heim.
So he didn't blow up because he's back rolling.
I think it was a stack-up effect from Rahman ducking out of line.
Well, it looked like he bounced off the back bumper of Sabile. Perhaps a little bit of internet connection there causing that crash, because that was certainly not normal, to say the very least. So Sabile leads. Here comes the 51 Corey Heim with help from the 19 of Parker Chase. Jesse Love almost did at that time with Raja Caruth. He
Three wide.
Shows his displeasure. He's going after Raja now. Corey Heim's going to go right by both of them, take over second, and now set his sights on Sabile for the lead.
And how good must it feel to be Leighton Sabile right now, watching all this happen behind you and not in front of you, where the big one can strike at any moment. Really surprised with how aggressive these guys are being on lap 10. You know, we have 71 laps to go right now, and you have no fast repairs. So to be this aggressive is really crazy. Fun to watch for sure, but not really good for the longevity of your race.
And maybe your health, depending on... It's been sketchy up here at the front since the drop of the green flag. So you've got the 10 of Kevin Reed leading the outside, Sabile leading the bottom. Corey Heim sits in second. There's some damage on the front end of that 10 Supra for Kevin Reed. I don't think that would help him when he's leading. He might be able to stay in the pack and he might be able to push, but him being the pushy right now, I think is just going to back that outside line up. And I think they just figured that out the hard way here, because they are sliding backward.
And maybe starting to see a little more calmness out of this line. They're still wiggling about, but not as many guys darting out to make big aggressive moves as we've seen here. Lots of close calls in this first opening 10 laps. Surprised we don't have a lot more junked race cars, as you see Hagenstein and Vargas now bouncing out to the outside. Maybe they can make something work here.
Hagenstein back into the picture. With help from Ryan Vargas, they go to the top side to try and break up the party of Sabile and Corey Heim. Here at the front of the field, Raja Caruth down in the bottom right behind Heim. Then you've got the 33 of Kodal and Justin Malillo down there. Here comes Jesse Love looking 3 wide. Doesn't have any help, though.
Oh, and you see him.
Vargas pulls out a line, can't get anything going there, and Hagenstein, just no choice. He's got some damage on the back end of that race car. He's dropping back.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are really testing the limits of their race cars right now. You see Raja going to go up in front of Hagenstein. Corey Heim going to pull up in front of Raja Caruth. There, well, almost wrecked again. 4 wide for second place. Oh, my goodness.
5 wide. This is not going to work, and it didn't. There they go. Raj down into Jesse Love. Can he save it? Yes, we stay green.
And again, I don't know how that was the big one.
Case Collenbach was down in the grass trying to avoid it. He saved it. That was something. 5 wide on lap 12 of an 80-lap race.
Yeah, I mean, these guys sure aren't scared to test the boundaries and limits of their race cars. You saw that right here. And Raja Caruth with a fair amount of damage now. He's going to have to fix all that. Going to throw a wrench into his rest of the race. Let's see. I mean, a lot of guys now with damage that were in that lead pack. I mean, Jesse Love looks like he's off the pace, about to get freight trained. And it's really split up this lead pack.
I was going to say, look at this gap. The gap 3 seconds from Eckes to the back of this front pack here. I think we're going to get a replay of that crash that didn't bring out the caution. Here we go, 5 wide, and Raja just gets stuck in a hole there, bounces off Love. Eckes got a little bit of trouble.
Adam Codal.
Straight away, the leaders are wrecking. Codal around in the middle of the racetrack. Everybody's going to miss him. But Adam Codal gets turned by, I believe, Parker Chase. Nope, it was Kevin Reed. Identical race cars. Reed washed up and got into him in the tri-oval. And the first caution flag is out. A hard hit to the outside wall for Adam Codal.
Yeah, and I mean, Codal just had nothing he could do. He got, as you said, just washed up, the inside lane washed up into his line, and he just got turned. You see a replay right here. Just nothing you can do in that situation. Corey Heim actually really lucky that didn't involve him as well. And the fact that Adam Codal actually didn't get hit by any of these cars that were coming in this pack, my goodness. You see him just scattering.
Rajat Garuth has parked the car. He is done for the night after just 12 laps here at Talladega.
Yeah, we'll get another look here.
Melillo, great job to the outside, getting away from it.
A hard hit to the outside wall, too.
And that might be the end of the day for Codal. Preston Pardis is also parked it. He is done for the night as well. Pit road is open. And it's a busy place. Everybody deciding to come down onto pit road. Fuel limit 70% on these cars. They only get 2 sets of tires on pit road. Some of these guys may decide to use one right here, and looking up and down pit road so far, it looks like that's the call. You're going to use a set here, just 13 laps in.
Yeah, I really wonder if that
only taking fuel though, like Sabile, Melillo, Palmeri, Vargas, Parker Chase, the first one out on, I believe, 4 tires for that 19.
Yeah, and I mean, this is going to bunch the field up and put, just inject some new names into that lead pack that we didn't really see earlier. I mean, guys like Brad Perez, Chris Wetz now up at the front, Eric Webler, Sean Farr. I mean, they were kind of hovering around that 10th to 15th area, and they're now going to be up towards the top 5 or 6 race cars. Palmeri as well. And so on that opening 13, 14 lap stint, we saw these guys not scared at all to make moves, test the limits of their cars. Lap 15 of 80, it seems pretty counterintuitive to do that, but do you think we see that once again here, that these guys just go out there, just try to lead laps and do anything to do that?
I don't think we're going to see much of a change, to be completely honest, because, well, I mean, it wasn't the big wreck that caused the caution. It was a single car spin that caused the caution. So the incentive to stop driving like crazy hasn't really presented itself here.
I believe Chris Wetz as well is the first Dash for Cash driver to poke his head into the top 10. Sean Farr not too far behind him.
Yeah, Eckes was running up toward the front before that caution, but had a little bit of damage. He was in the box for 43 seconds there. Couple pitting this time around to top off. Amongst them, Jake Poulin. Case Kallenbach is back in. Sean Farr in. Gabe Herschel, Matt Wishart, Dylan Poteet, all coming onto pit road.
Yeah, and Adam Kodal has actually pulled his race car back onto the track, so it looks like he will continue, albeit probably a little underpowered after that giant hit on the front straightaway that brought out our first caution on lap 12.
Interesting to see how much of that damage he has fixed on that 33, how off the pace he could be once we get back going green here. 1 to go this time. Fields in turn 2. Leighton, Sabile, Justin Melillo, your front row. Ryan Vargas in 3rd. Jonathan Palmeri in 4th. Parker Chase 5th. Peter Acumano in 6th. Monan Rahman in 7th. Brad Perez 8th. Eric Webler 9th. Chris Wetz in the 10th spot.
Matt Wishart as well just topped off on fuel, and he will be rejoining the field now. Really interesting that some of these guys opted to take tires on lap, 14 out of 80. You figured you want those later in the race, but, maybe just want to go out here and make some moves, get yourself up towards the front and contention to lead laps. We'll see how they'll stretch them out here.
Coming through 3 and 4, 29 cars. Still on the racetrack. Still on the lead lap. 16 laps will be complete here this time by. But still a long way to go. Here comes the pace truck, headed to pit road. They'll head into the restart zone. They do not have the restart zone activated tonight, so don't need to worry about that. Here they come. Sabile choosing the outside line for this, the first restart of the race. They come down the front straightaway through the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air. We're back rolling from Talladega. Ryan Vargas takes over that second spot. He got a good restart. Melillo jumps up to the outside line in 3rd. He's got Parker Chase right behind him. Palmeri down on the inside line. Not a lot of help down there. He does have Acumano, though, in the 34 to help. Here comes Melillo to peek to the bottom. Parker Chase went to go with him, but then stays up on the high side. Melillo looking for some traction all by himself. Palmeri is a couple car lengths back.
Yeah, that entire restart, everybody kind of gravitated towards the high side. You see Justin Melillo, he's got Palmeri right behind him being pushed by Peter Acumano. And they're going to freight train the 53 traction machine now. As here comes Jonathan Palmeri with a run trying to get a lap lead, but I think it's going to be Leighton Sabile.
Turned. Nick Olson bodied one car down. It was Eric Webler into Justin Melillo, and the caution is out. One car sideways. It's Webler. Melillo has damage, and it was contact. Nick Olson went 4 wide and had a car width and a half above him that he didn't use, bounced down into Webler, who then came down and got Melillo. Christian Eckes got involved in it. Kevin Reed clobbered Eckes, turned him around. Jesse Love got some more damage, and the caution's out for the second time.
And that one was quite interesting. Justin Melillo, as we saw, had kind of pulled out of line. We'll get a replay here in a second for you. But yeah, just a big stack-up effect. Here we go. Here's your replay. Well, we'll get it caught up to the tri-oval here in a second. There we go.
Watch that 24.
Yeah, Nick Olson, maybe he didn't know he had 2 cars underneath him and thought Eric Webler had a little more room, but either way, he just comes down on Eric Webler and nowhere for the number 69 to go. Really unfortunate there. Get it from this angle as well. You'll really see that 24 chopped down, makes contact with the 69. Justin Melillo just nowhere to go. Christian Eckes nowhere to go as well. Really a great job by a lot of these guys to avoid that. Should have been a lot bigger than it was. On board with Christian Eckes here.
Webler didn't get too much damage. Melillo, I think Eckes got the worst of it. Melillo might have gotten the second most damage. Kevin Reed, the front end of his car, it looks nothing different than it did under that first caution. The back panel gone on Eckes' car. And Malillo has the front and rear crumpled up on that traction car. Front end looking a little bit better, but second caution, pretty quick after the first caution.
Yeah, it's the timeless caution breed caution effect. Everybody got stacked up there. And, after the first stint, maybe thought they would try to calm down a little bit, but you called it. I mean, they were just as racy as they were that caution before. And another small incident, really, brings out this second caution of the day. So, maybe we do see that same type of racy thing once again here on this restart. It's been a lot of fun so far, however. More guys coming down pit road here. Yep. Among those
only a couple staying out, really. You have Sabile, Chase, Perez, Wetz, Kallenbach, Herschel staying out. That's it. Everybody else comes down onto pit road. Most of them just for fuel. A couple taking tires. Peter Accumano is one of those. But for the most part, it's just a fuel-only stop for the folks coming down onto pit road. We will step aside and go to a break here from Talladega. 19 laps are complete. Leighton Sabile is your leader under the second caution. Welcome you back here to Talladega. 20 laps are complete. We're about half a lap away from getting back under the green flag in the Talladega 212 on the Untitled Friends League. Jacob Pitts, Caleb Hoffman here with you. Leighton Sabile is your race leader, choosing the outside once again on this second caution flag, getting ready for the restart. Right now, driver eligible for the Dash for Cash. To win that, it's Sean Farr. Back in the 13th spot or so, he is the first guy on the racetrack. It's the four guys of Farr: Christian Eckes, Chris Wetz, and find the fourth one, Austin Moore. Eckes 23rd, Moore 24th, and Wetz 27th. Not a good start for those guys. Jonathan Taylor is a lap down. The lone car a lap down that is still running back in the 29th position. He's catching up to the tail end of the pack right now. Field will come around through 3 and 4. Had a couple more come on to pit road there. And we came down to one to green, including those that stayed out. Brad Perez, Gabe Herschel. Just fuel only for most of those guys. Others taking some damage repair, but for the most part, not everybody using that first set of tires. They only get 2 sets out on pit road, and we're only a quarter of the way through this race here at Talladega. Sabile on the outside. Parker Chase is on the inside as they come down for the restart. Green flag.
Wow, look at Vargas and Sabile hooked up from the go. They're going to launch out.
Well, they cleared it. There were 4 guys that got black flags for passing under yellow, but they sorted it out. One car extremely off pace. Down in turn 1, that's Sean Farr. He didn't go very far in that restart. He made contact with Jesse Love. Love went 3 wide. And I don't think either one of them knew they were 3 wide, and Farr dropped a ton of spots. Back down to 23rd. Love kept his foot in it. He's now 14th.
Yeah, and you see these front 2, Leighton Sabile, Ryan Vargas, still hooked up. Parker Chase and Jonathan Palmeri are coming fast, though, with a big run on these 2 leaders. On board with Sabile here. Ooh, Parker Chase.
Chasing after him, and he will take the lead. Corey Heim joins the party. Oh, man, that got close. Parker Chase to the front.
Chase, big move, clearing himself off the front bumper of Sabile, who's been out front for most of this race so far. Jonathan Palmeri going to get hung out to dry by Corey Heim. And he's going to try to fall back in line, but we have a hard-charging Monin Rahman right behind him. Palmeri going to fall back in line behind him.
Here comes Nick Olson on the outside in at 24. Trying to get around the 34 of Peter Accumano. It's, again, the pack's kind of splintering apart here. Not quite the big conglomerate pack that we saw in the opening laps of this race. It's pretty strung out now as they come back to the start-finish line. 23 laps complete.
Yeah, just the whole manner that restart was taken, and the tone was really set when Leighton Sabile and Ryan Vargas took off from the field there, and has really promoted this, kind of single-file, strung-out front lead pack that we're seeing right now. Big run coming from Corey Heim for Ryan Vargas.
Yeah, we both know that you can't last too long by yourself out in front. You're going to get caught, and you're probably going to be deep in the weeds once they get to you, because they're going to be going 10 mile an hour faster.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what's really fun about these cars, too, is, if you do get out in front like that, like you said, you're not going to stay out there for long. You see Jonathan Palmeri just had a huge run as well. And that's just the nature of these Xfinity cars. You can get huge, big momentum runs like that and pull out a line and hope to go somewhere with it. As you see right now, high side trying to get going. Ryan Vargas really thinking about it. He is going to dip up to the high side. Corey Heim, Jonathan Palmeri, and that's Nick Olson. Now trying to go somewhere. Oh, Vargas block gone wrong almost. Almost collects the field as now Corey Heim up on the high side.
Yeah, that was counterintuitive. They wanted to go to the front, but
yeah, for sure.
That block prevented all of them from getting up there. They'll have to reset and regroup. Chase still saying, trouble, car in the wall. Parker Chase back up into traffic, and he just turned into Poteet. Kevin Reed, not Parker Chase. Kevin Reed washed up the racetrack, bounced off Austin Moore, put him in the fence, came down, hit Jesse Love, and then clobbered the outside wall. Came back up onto the racetrack under green and clipped Poteet and turned him around, and Poteet just about got clocked by Chris Wetz. I can't believe Wetz made it through that. We're going to need an onboard with that 71, and he might need a new pair of pants.
Absolutely. You'll see it right here. Just a pinball in the middle of the racetrack, and what can you do? Our very own Justin Malillo barely makes it through that. Wow. And Dylan Poteet did a great job to keep it off the wall as well. He'll need to get probably a new set of tires, but other than that, number 17 Supra is untouched. See it from
Another
a different angle here. On board with Justin Malua.
Yep. Whoa.
My goodness.
And here's Wets. No, it's not. Here we go. Take two.
Wow, that 17 comes out of nowhere. Wow.
A little bit of net code there, but not a lot.
Yeah, and another, something we didn't really touch on there was Jesse Love was really out of control. He had a super underrated save there to keep that car out of the wall. Minimal damage on that number $21 General Supra. We see more cars coming down pit road now.
Yep, pit stops. Everybody coming to pit road. Jake Poulin completely missed his box. So he's your race leader, but I believe he might come back in. Sabile did win the race off of pit road in that 25. Ryan Vargas second, and then it was Ramin Haim Akumano, the race off pit road. The race leader Parker Chase, before pit stops, comes out 7th.
And a few guys that were up front earlier had really rough stops. I mean, Brad Perez has fallen all the way back to 19th. Justin Malillo, who we saw earlier, once again allowing some new, fresh names to kind of get up here. Matt Wishart joining the top 10 now, as he is the tail end, the bookend of the top 10.
Closing in on halfway here from Talladega. We're 13 laps away from that point this time by. Jake Poulin, currently your race leader, missed his box though on pit roads. Will likely come back down onto pit road and get service this time by instead, which will put Leighton Sabile back out in front here from Talladega.
Jacob, how do you think we're feeling about an interview?
Go for it.
Justin, Caleb up in the booth, you got me?
What's going on, Caleb?
Hey, man, you've been up in this lead pack. Had your few share of some run-ins so far. Lap 27 closing in halfway. How are we feeling so far?
I got a little bit of damage on the right side from an earlier incident with somebody who didn't have any spatial awareness, but we're fine. Got all the RPMs in the car, no engine damage, so we should be able to still compete here and hopefully still be in contention for a win later on.
Absolutely. And I mean, is that aero damage really any concern for you? Obviously, at Talladega, we've seen some beat-up cars win before. You said no engine damage. Hopefully, we'll see you up in contention.
Yeah. Anytime you're at one of these super speedway races, and especially with the old damage model, any damage is going to hurt. Thankfully, I got plenty of traction on this car, so we should be able to do all right.
There you go.
Absolutely. The traction machine still in it. Thank you, Justin, for your time.
Thank you, Caleb.
And we'll let him go. Jacob, getting ready back to go green here soon. Any feelings so far? What you think we'll see here? We saw they got a little more strung out that last restart, but do you think we'll see a return to the raciness that we saw those first two stints?
It's possible. I just feel like the real aggressive guys now have wrecked. So they're in the back of the field, and they're just, all right, well, I'm just going to ride around that. I may not have the speed or whatever. So I think that's more the strategy for those guys, but you still have a lot of good racing up at the front. Like we saw on that last stint, it was further back in traffic where we had the crash. So I think we're doing okay, and hopefully we can click off a couple of green flag laps here under this stint. I also wish that Talladega had a shorter alternate version that we could only use under pacing, so cautions didn't take this long, but
Living in 2049 over there.
yeah, like an exit ramp going down into turn number 1 that brings us back to turn 4. Oh my, all right, well. Here comes the field. Off turn 4, pace truck will head to pit road. Sabile and Vargas back on the front row for the restart. As we were talking with Justin, Jake Pullen did decide to bring his number 0 machine down onto pit road, so he'll be starting from the back. Your top 5, Sabile, Vargas, the 44 of Manan Raman, Corey Heim, and Peter Accumano. Green flag.
Once again, that outside line, huge jump. Leighton Sabile and Corey Heim now. They're taking Parker Chase with them this time, though. It's not as much of a breakaway. You see Ryan Vargas holding his own, though, for that number 3 position. He's going to dip all the way down to the bottom.
Down the back straightaway, here comes Heim looking to the bottom. Sabile covers the spot. I'll look to the outside. Here comes the 19 of Parker Chase down to the bottom.
Ooh, here comes Raman with Hagenstein. Sorry to cut you off there, Jacob. He has a huge run in that number 44. Gonna stall out just a little bit, though, on the side of Parker Chase.
Not enough of a run there on that outside line to really make some noise. They come back to the stripe. We'll have 50 to go next time by.
Yeah, that outside line's really starting to get formed up now. We see Jonathan Palmeri has joined them. He's got Justin Malillo and Matt Wishart right behind him. And now Manan Raman's going to have an opportunity here. He's to the outside of Corey Heim, and here comes that outside line. Tristan Hagenstein with a big run. Going to deliver that push to the back of the number 44, and now he's going to duck out right in front of Leighton Sabile. Side by side for the lead here at Talladega.
They come through 3 and 4. Sabile with the lead. Raman trying to take it on the outside. Here comes Vargas 3 wide up the middle with Matt Wishart to help. Where will Palmeri go? It looks like he's going to leave the middle wide open. Here comes the 6. Up the middle.
Oh, almost 4.
Oh! Malillo gets banged around there. Palmeri slides up the racetrack, and that outside line falls apart.
Yeah, it fell apart rather easily as we saw Raman and Hagenstein left to join the inside line, and after that it was just a power surge. We see Ryan Vargas and Matt Wishart now trying to make something happen. Jonathan Palmeri and Justin Malillo once again trying to send in support for this outside lane. Tristan Hagenstein really trying to straddle the inside and outside lanes at the moment. Not going to be successful, though. Here comes Vargas and Matt Wishart. Big run from the outside, side by side right now for the lead.
Hagenstein was peeking and peeking, but he couldn't do it. Instead, Ryan Vargas goes to the front with help from Wishart. Palmeri there in second now on that outside line as Vargas drops to the bottom. That's Swan security car. Has some security now out in front.
Here comes Matt Wishart in the Bar Visuals Toyota Supra now. He's got help from Jonathan Palmeri and Justin Malillo. That outside line has been the place to be. For some reason, that inside lane's just, it's been stalling out on the straightaways because you don't have that same momentum off exit. We'll see it once again here. Matt Wishart with Palmeri. Huge run. See if Matt Wishart can lead this lap.
The line gets a big shove, and Wishart will lead that lap. In fact, he will clear Vargas.
So will Palmeri.
Not quite.
Almost got
stuck on
him.
that outside line. Wishart will stay up there as well, and here comes Vargas surging back on the bottom.
Yeah, you got to wonder here. I mean, so far from what we've been seeing, it's been this outside lane will get enough of a run to clear the inside, and as soon as they clear the inside, you drop to the bottom, and it's just been a cycle of that. interesting to see Matt Wishart kind of stay up with Palmeri as that outside lane kind of disforms. Oh, Nick Olsen bails on him.
Well, Palmeri came over the radio and said, I'm getting hot. The engine was getting a little too warm and pushing. Here comes Vargas. He jumps to the outside, covers the spot from Wishart, and he's going to lose the lead potentially as here comes Rahman down on the inside. Vargas not quite clear, I don't think. No, he's not going into turn one.
Yeah, Vargas and Wishart had a, really successful bond there when they were drafting up to the front. So Vargas opting to go back to kind of that more familiar face.
4 wide. Here comes Parker Chase up the middle.
Ooh, contact between Parker Chase
and Nick Olsen. Corey Heim up on the outside innocently. And Justin Melillo is getting bullied for existing, it seems like, right now. Still 4 wide. Still 4 wide.
Oh, up front, Matt Wishart.
Wishart jumps 3 wide. Rahman on the bottom. Vargas falls back in the middle. Rahman leads at the line.
Still 4. Wow.
Is reunited again, and oh my gosh, just
Palmeri
4 wide. Parker Chase almost made it 5 wide. Palmeri is sideways, just trying to hold on down the back straightaway.
There they go. Wow.
Finally gives up.
There's still a gap for Melillo if he wants to go 4, but they're going to opt to get 3 wide. Wow, what a stressful few laps there. We had Matt Wishart and John Palmeri there. Made a strong charge for the lead. Not going to work out, though, as now that inside line is going to have all the momentum. Nick Olsen going to hop out of line, try to pick up either Ryan Vargas or Matt Wishart. Looks like it's going to be Vargas with Melillo, and Leighton Sabile now going to jump down behind Melillo to get that outside line foreman, as Wishart and Palmeri are going to fall all the way back. And that's how quickly things can change.
Ryan Vargas got shot out of a cannon down the front straightaway, all over the back bumper of that 24. Side by side for second. Here comes Olsen looking for the lead, and Vargas is going to ditch him at the doorstep. Melillo goes with him, and Olsen about walled him. Here comes Sabile. He'll try to hop in line and help him down the back straightaway.
Jesse Love just threw a big block from Matt Wishart.
Wishart just ran him over because he had to lift, because he tried to stick it 4 wide, and he realized that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, Matt Wishart had a huge run in the backstretch. Jesse Love just went up to block it and about caused a huge wreck. Matt Wishart once again going to give him the bumper. Not sure if that maybe is out of displeasure from a huge block that he just threw on him.
36 laps complete. We're 4 laps away from being halfway in the Talladega 212. Bonin Rahman leads the way. Ryan Vargas on the outside trying to take that lead spot away. Hagenstein and Melillo side by side for that second spot. You got Nick Olsen on the outside line with Sabile. Here comes Parker Chase down by the yellow line, 3 wide. Shuffling up the 34 of Peter Accumano going down into turn number 3. Jesse Love piles in as well, right to the back bumper. Vargas clear to the lead.
We see these guys starting to get racy once again, side by side and 3 wide deeper into this pack. Justin Melillo leading that outside lane. He's going to be to the outside of Ryan Vargas. Can that outside lane get enough momentum going out of the tri-oval here? Doesn't look like it. Ryan Vargas going to lead the lap.
Here comes Sabile with help from Palmeri. On the outside, 3 wide. It's just those 2. Let's see if they can gather a run down the back straightaway or not. They're side by side with that 34. And here comes Vargas. He jumps to the middle. Melillo had to lift. Everybody scatters. Olsen's going to go 3 wide on Melillo. Melillo slams the door shut.
Ooh, Accumano went up in front of Matt Wishart. Matt Wishart ducks down to the middle lane. That middle line got really wiggly down the backstretch and really killed a lot of their momentum, as you see that now with Ryan Vargas. Dipping. Still 3 wide, though. Really impressed by this far outside lane in Sabile and Palmeri that they've been able to kind of stick with this pack.
2 laps to halfway here from Talladega. Ryan Vargas continues to lead. Justin Melillo in second. Rahman in third. Olsen sits fourth. Hagenstein in the 5th spot on that 27 down to the bottom. Another lapper just ahead. That is Christian Eckes. And Eckes Yeah, he's just off the pace.
Wow.
Damage, and he stays right in the middle. Oh my gosh, here comes the 19 of Parker Chase. Hagenstein's going to pinch him down to the yellow line. Whew. My goodness.
Yeah, make it through.
And here
Parker
comes
Chase. Ooh, Chase pinching Hagenstein now. Rahman gonna look to the outside. Vargas throws a block on him. Was not clear. Lucky to avoid a wreck, and now Rahman's gonna have control of the lead. Not gonna be able to clear Vargas, though. Still side by side in turns 1 and 2. Parker Chase ducking. He was peaking for 3 wide. Not going to be able to have enough of a run to do it. Still side by side for the lead down the backstretch. Here comes that outside lane again.
Boy, on board with Melillo. Things are getting awfully aggressive. We hit
Parker Chase.
this time by Parker Chase. Peeks out of line, gets back in line through 3 and 4. Vargas continues to lead. Rahman in that second spot, trying the best he can on the outside line. Parker Chase will not be denied in pushing him. Here comes Olsen. He peeks out of line, trying to hook up with Jake Poulin, who has surged his way back to the front, halfway at Talladega.
And something to keep your eye on. Jonathan Palmeri has been such a great pusher. I mean, there's been 3 or 4 different cars that have been pushed all the way up to almost the lead.
Here
and
they've
been with that 3 machine. Here comes Jake Poulin and Jonathan Palmeri. They're going to try to make it a 3-horse race for the lead going into turn number 3. Big shove of momentum. 3 wide.
Vargas on the bottom. He has the most momentum out of all, but here comes Rahman up the middle. He's not backing down either with that 19 all over the back bumper. Looking to make himself a little wide as Poulin falls back just a little bit in that third line.
Parker Chase.
Chase to the bottom. That's it. Hagenstein. He had to back off. He was running a little hot there. All over Ryan Vargas, but he stays in the pack. Just dropped back for a little bit. Now they're starting to surge again. Here comes Vargas.
Here comes Melillo.
Chase. He lifts. Melillo now with a run from Olsen. Justin Melillo looking for the lead.
And Parker Chase was really starting to get impatient there, and I feel like him being so willing to dart out of line is what's kind of put them in this situation now. As you see, the middle line has the most help. Melillo, Olsen, Vargas, Acumano, Love all the way back. Now they have the momentum, they have the push. Justin Melillo tries to clear himself on Rahman.
Tried. He barely leads that lap by 6/1000ths of a second at the start-finish line. Try it again down the back.
And these guys are racy right now. Justin Melillo with Nick Olsen. I mean, it's kind of ironic considering these two were just in a little spat a few minutes ago, and here they are working together to take the lead, or at least try to.
Flying up to the back bumper of Matt Wishart, almost wrecked, trying to slow down so he didn't completely run him over through turn 3, but he gets it straightened out and he's back on the back bumper of that 32. Oh, Parker Chase washes up into Olsen through the grass. He saves it, kicks the cone. He'll get back onto the racetrack, and the 19. A big slide there for Parker Chase, and just contact, washed up. Oh, trouble, there's Kallenbach around. He gets piled into. Mark Sebetka. Sean Farr involved in that, as well as Austin Moore and Anthony Rotolo. Caution is out for the 3rd time, and it was contact between the 11 of Anthony Rotolo and Mark Sebetka that got Kallenbach and brought out the caution in turn number 1. 2 of the Dash for Cash drivers involved in this crash. We'll get a replay.
Yeah, and I want to believe that was a stack-up effect from what we had seen transpire in the trioval. We'll see it here. Oh, just off the bumper of Mark Zabeka there. It looks like that was Anthony Rotolo, maybe.
Yep. A lot of damage for Kallenbach. Ran him over.
Yeah, just a push in the corners, which is a notorious no-no. Can't be doing that. And now that's 3 or 4 cars that are absolutely junked. This is a replay of Parker Chase washing up into Nick Olson in the tri-oval that we saw live. You'll see it right here, just the number 19. I don't know if he loses the nose or what. Just washes up into the 24. And really lucky that it was only Parker Chase.
He's done that a lot, though, both him and his teammate in the 10, where they wash up and get into the guy on the outside of him.
Yeah, it might be something with the steering ratio that they tried on the setup that's not really working for him. But Matt Wishart actually has the lead now.
So, pit road's open, and it's a very, very busy place. I would have to think at this point, if you haven't taken them, you're going to take tires here, right?
Yeah, 36 to go. What's the worst that can happen with them?
Eckes stays out. He'll get the free pass.
Good call on his part. We'll see the race off. Accumano might have a shot. No, Justin Melillo.
Melillo takes fuel only, yeah. So he, as well as Accumano and Love, Hagenstein, Heim, Sabile, all with fuel only, as well as Parker Chase and Ryan Pistana. Ryan Vargas, Palmieri, and Raman, they're all taking 4 tires on this pit stop. Ryan Vargas is here, so we'll bring him aboard. Strong car so far. Interested in strategy choice here under this caution.
I took fuel all day long, and I was like, let me just take 4 freshies, put some Goodyear Eagles on this Swan Security Chevrolet, and see what we can do. So I think we can win it. I just gotta stay out of the messes.
Now, I saw you early on Twitter posting about Swan Security and getting those systems at Sam's Club. How many of those do you own? Because I'd have to imagine that wasn't the first one that you purchased in that video, and it's probably not the last one either.
So I got one of like the Swan Extreme Cam. Like it's the little. It basically is like a small one you put on like your desk almost, like a in-house security. And then I also have the Swan Buddy doorbell, and that one's been pretty cool because you've been able to like it senses sound. So anytime something kind of wacky happens outside, it catches it. So that's been pretty fun. So yeah, hope anybody who's watching picks up some Swan Security product at Sam's Club.
How about the rest of the race? What do you think? Good, bad, ugly, chances to win?
It's both good, both ugly, and I do feel like I have a good chance to win. I just need to get back up there. Like I said, I took 4 freshies there, so I sacrificed a little time just to help handling, and as you can see, a couple more cars peel off, so now we'll probably end up, I don't know, 8th or 7th. So, yeah. But I like being in the win. I like leading this thing. I feel safer up front in that top 4, top 3 than I do anywhere else. So once I can get up there, I feel like I can control. I mean, you saw I would go from bottom lane to middle lane to top lane to middle lane to middle lane to bottom. It's just all about controlling it and making sure you keep yourself pointed straight.
Ryan Vargas in his 4th start in the season, looking for his first win and his 3rd top 5. Thanks for your time, and hopefully we'll talk to you later.
Heck yeah, thank you.
There you have it, Ryan Vargas, driver of the 6. He'll restart inside the top 10 on this upcoming restart. We'll have 33 rather, laps to go on the restart. So Justin Melillo is your race leader. He's looking for his first win on the season as well. his third start this season. Peter Acumano on the outside. Jesse Love third. Corey Heim fourth. Leighton Sabile fifth. Modan Rahman in sixth. Jonathan Palmieri in seventh. Parker Chase eighth. Vargas in ninth. Nick Olson rounding out the top 10. You got Jake Poulin, Andrew Schwartz, Gabe Herschel, Sean Farr, who right now is leading the Dash for Cash award in the 14th spot. Then Matt Wishart, Dylan Poteet, Chris Wetz, Brad Perez, Tristan Hagenstein, Eric Webler, Ryan Pastana, Austin Moore, Anthony Rotolo, Christian Eckes, Adam Koldel, all on the lead lap. Kallenbach and Sabetka are currently getting their cars worked on. They're multiple laps down. Right now, just one down, it looks like, for Kallenbach, 2 down for Sabetka. Jonathan Taylor is 5 down. Kevin Reed is almost 20 laps down. Still sitting on pit road in the 29th spot. Rajah Caruth, Preston Pardis out of the race. Pace car is in, and Melillo will lead us down for the restart. And flag.
Melillo shot out of a cannon, got a big push there from the 21 of Jesse Love. Now he's almost like a sitting duck as Love and Sabile are hooked up next to each other.
And there goes Acumano, stuck on that outside line. He's just going to plummet through the field. He's got Palmieri catching up, as well as Vargas and Parker Chase up there. As the field continues to wind up, it takes them almost a full lap to get them up to full speed. Once they do, they are flying. Here we go, 3 wide.
Acumano with Palmieri. Just shoot around Jesse Love right there. Now Palmieri, they're going to make it 4.
Wide.
Oh, Parker Chase comes down on Love.
Not clear.
Oh my goodness, and here comes Parker Chase after almost junking the field. He wants his hand, trying to get around Acumano, but that's going to die out really quickly with no drafting support.
Melillo continues to lead. 31 laps to go. Make it 32 to go. Here comes the 25s. Leighton Sabile with Corey Heim. Round the outside, the top 3 all belonging to Monday Night Racing. And here they come. Sabile out in front. Heim looked to go to the bottom, but he got that door shut on him. Acumano on the outside line with help from Vargas. Sabile covers the spot.
And these guys are shuffling everywhere.
Bounces off of Jesse Love and almost gets turned 3 wide.
Yeah, Parker Chase. Oh, Jesse Love.
There it goes. Down into the
upside down.
Parker Chase on his roof, tumbling through the grass on the front straightaway. And the caution's out for the 4th time tonight. A wild flip for Parker Chase down the front straightaway after pinching down on Jesse Love coming off turn 4.
And a spectacular flip from Parker Chase through the tribal grass there. And judging based off how they've been racing the last few laps, we knew that was coming sooner or later. And it happens when Jesse Love and Parker Chase make contact. We'll get a replay here for you in a second. But my goodness, what a spectacular flip through the tribal grass there for Parker Chase.
And he's still rolling. Like, the tires are rolling, not like still side over side rolling. He's still going.
Yeah, that's the Joe Nemechek Nashville energy from 10 or 15 years ago, however long it was.
Here's the difference. Nemechek flipped once. Parker Chase flipped a lot more than once. Here's the replay. So he comes down on Love once. That's not good enough. And I think he's following Vargas here off the corner, thinking he's clear. But he's got this bright yellow car down underneath him that he can't see. And then he gets kicked up into the air by the 21, and up and over it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flips, I believe, for the number 19.
Yeah, what a tumble. I mean,
I haven't seen one like that in a while, especially in these cars.
I was about to say, the Xfinity cars really don't have a tendency to get airborne all that often. And you see it right here. Just as a result of the grass, it's going to kick Jesse Love underneath the side of Parker Chase and prop him up just like a lever. And Parker Chase, over and over, his day, definitely not going to be contending for the win in this lead pack. We'll leave it at that. On board with Jesse Love here. We'll get to see Parker Chase get kicked up in front of him.
This ought to be good. Hang on. Wow.
Yeah, and Gabe Herschel as well was involved in that. Nowhere really for him to go. That was a result of Parker Chase and Jesse Love. He seems to have continued on with minimal damage from that.
Fourth caution flag of the night here from Talladega. We're inside 30 laps to go. Your race leader, Leighton Sabile. We'll step aside. We're back after this here on FTF.GG. Back here from Talladega Super Speedway for the Talladega 212, for the Untitled Friends League. Jacob Pitts, Caleb Hoffman here with you. Leighton Sabile is our race leader. Justin Malillo sits back in the 7th position, and under this break, he told us that fuel strategy is now in play. The guys that just topped off, there was a good dozen or so that just topped off this time by. Amongst them, Chris Wetz, Tristan Hagenstein, Peter Accumano, Ryan Pistana, Brad Perez, Nick Olson. They be able to make it to the end on fuel. They just need to save about half a lap, which should be easier considering they have the draft to their advantage. Those in the top 6 will definitely not be able to make it. 7th through 10th, they pitted a lap earlier. They're going to be close. Another caution would probably help them, and I think our caution would help anybody as far as making it to the end on fuel at this point. We're coming to 28 laps to go. Corey Heim on the inside, Leighton Sabile on the outside for this restart. Have 25 cars on the lead lap. Case Kallenbach is back on 4 laps down. Jonathan Taylor is 6 down. Mark Sebitka and Kevin Reed sit on pit road. Parker Chase is still out there. Somehow, some way, he's P11, green flag. Really nice restart from Sabile, but you don't want to get away from the pack too early on because they will close in after you in a hurry. How about Christian Eckes in 6th? No back end on that race car, and he's inside the top 10 in the lead pack. You might get eaten alive, though, because here comes Matt Wishart on the outside, Justin Malolo right behind him.
Jake. Yeah, right here. Christian Eckes seems to be a little underpowered at the moment, and looks like everybody's just going to try to get around that number 98.
Oh, my. Malolo getting shuffled around back there. Andrew Schwartz in that Sabile car. Sabile's out in front. Ryan Vargas sits in that 4th spot, trying to get some help from Wishart. And Malolo closing in on the top 3.
Yeah, I'd say definitely keep an eye on this second lane. Few big names that we've seen with lots of speed here tonight.
Where are you going?
They almost all just got took out.
Here comes Poteet. So this ain't gonna work. Sabile tries to cover the spot. Here comes Schwartz up the middle. 7th to 1st in a corner. And now here comes Vargas. He stays in the middle. He'll go to the lead.
Wow, Matt Wishart, Dylan Poteet as well, hooked to the back end of Ryan Vargas.
Side by side, almost 3 wide. You got Sabile there on the outside.
And wow, look at this pack, 3x3x3 still. With 26 laps to go, I mean, the way they're trying to get up to the front right now, it almost feels like it's 2 to go, not 26.
Schwartz leads, Vargas in 2nd. Sabile trying to get that outside the roll. He gets abandoned by Corey Heim. And now he'll fit in line in that 2nd line, right in the middle of the racetrack. Vargas drops back, so Andrew Schwartz continues to lead. Manan Rahman sits in the 2nd spot down there on the bottom. And right now, Chris Wett's leading the Dash for Cash. He's in 9th. As Christian Eckes falls back outside the top 15, he drops to 18th.
And right now, I mean, this outside line starting to fall apart. You see Matt Wishart, Leighton Sabile, Corey Heim. That's Chris Wett's up into the top 10 now. And Matt Wishart and Vargas going to join that bottom line, and maybe we start to see the calm before the storm. And as soon as I say that, here comes Vargas dipping up to back to the outside.
Trying to charge back up toward the front. Remember, some of these guys here at the very front cannot make it on fuel the rest of the way, and they will need to pit one more time. Here comes Rahman, pulls up in front of Vargas. Covers that outside line. Justin Malillo now 2nd on the bottom, but Rahman takes over the race lead. And Vargas to the bottom, looking for it now. Doesn't have any help, though. Sabile goes with Rahman.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Andrew Schwartz and Justin Malillo there on the inside, but that outside lane's just a little more grouped up, a little more together right now. And who knows, the reinforcement still on the bottom, maybe yet to come.
Sabile peeks to the outside, gets that door shut. Now Vargas storming back on the bottom with help from Schwartz.
Still, you see this inside line just not all the way together right now. You got these 3 cars, but I mean, that's not going to be enough to really rival the amount of momentum that these guys on the outside have being all hooked together.
Everybody single file except for this top 3, and they will drop their way down to the bottom. And now everybody single file in this lead pack. One exception, Brad Perez. He's just dropping to the tail of this lead pack.
Yeah, and absolutely seeing the calm before the storm. We saw him very racy as they get around the lap traffic. That's Case Kallenbach in the number 82 machine. And right now, just trying to make it to the end. You got 22 laps to go now. Just make it inside that 10 lap to go barrier, and then you can try to work your magic and make something happen.
Almost seems like it's splintering a bit. You've got this top three and a little bit of a gap before you get back to Vargas, Schwartz, and Melillo.
Yeah, and I mean, Raman Sabile and Corey Heim have, you know, those are all guys that have avoided all accidents today. I mean, Vargas has a little bit of side damage. Oh, it actually might get a little more. Big block from Corey Heim there. Ryan Vargas goes all the way up to the high side, falls back in line. But Corey Heim's been all about these huge blocks here lately. He really doesn't want these guys to get around him.
Sabile to the lead. Here comes Corey Heim with a big run. Corey Heim peeks to the outside. Now he'll stay in line. He goes up top, not clear. Vargas is there.
Yeah, and you got to wonder if Vargas just peeking out of line, trying to get somebody to go with him, and just nobody will. You see Andrew Schwartz there, lets him back in line. You got to be really careful. I mean, Andrew Schwartz, good move on his part. Wants Vargas to, you know, maybe help him out here to run for the win here in about 10 laps. Just bide your time and get your marks. You'll get there eventually. But the field now all single file. Coming up on lap traffic, that's the number 19 of Parker Chase, who...
Oh, no! Oh, washing up the racetrack! I mean...
He's big, bro.
What is he doing?
You thought we were free of him washing up with him flipping through the tribal 10 times, but...
Is he just trying to wreck somebody?
No, I think the car is just broken. Figured it would be. I'm surprised he's out on the racetrack still after that flip earlier.
He was only on pit road for a minute 48. He got the damage repaired. He got back out in line before we got the restart. So that thing is a modified. Sabile still leads. 19 laps to go.
Yeah, and that really has split up these two packs. I mean, they were a little bit splintered before, but now it's a big gap from Melillo in 6th to Matt Wishart, who leads that second line. And that second pack is not really making up that much time. I mean, they probably will end up if, you know, Vargas or Raman, Corey Heim peak out like they have been and get this line out of shape. But again, just right now, they're not making up time. In fact, losing time to this front pack.
$18 to go. Sabile continues to lead. This top four, more than likely, will not be able to make it on fuel the rest of the way. Will need a pit stop.
Yeah, that's a great point too. I mean, you think maybe this second pack is some of these guys towards the tail end, you know, would you be trying to save fuel right now just to ensure that you can make it to the end?
Because of how not racy everybody's been, absolutely I'd try and save fuel here.
Yeah, and I mean, with how strung out this second pack is, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if a few guys are trying that. I mean, prime candidates, I think, right now would be guys like Tristan Hagenstein, John Palmeri, Brad Perez, who are kind of all together in this second pack. You know, don't go full throttle. Just bide your time. Try to make it all the way to the end here. Matt Wishart has caught back up to this first pack. This entire second pack starting to get back up with them.
Wishart, another one of those guys that cannot make it. So perhaps he's just going to run it until it runs out.
That would be my vote.
But, a caution could come, especially if we do get a point where green flag pit stops need to happen, just because we haven't had an opportunity to do green flag pit stops up until this point. Here's Vargas peeking out of line. Remember, this top 4 plus Wishart back in 7th cannot make it to the end on fuel. Everybody else is close. They need to save some, but it's at least an achievable number that they have to save, that they might be able to make it to the end. Particularly those, I think, that might be in the best shot are Dylan Poteet on back, part of this kind of Group 1B, if you will, of this lead pack.
And I mean, right now, if you are one of these guys, that is short on fuel, you're not really banking on a caution at this point. You're probably going to have to come down, make a green flag pit stop, and making that green flag pit stop, that's especially challenging at a place like Talladega. You got to get that car woed down from almost 190 miles per hour down to the pit road speed of 55 miles per hour. And when you have everybody nose to tail like this, it can make it really easy to, even if you do announce that you are pitting, it can cause stack ups, and trying to avoid potential calamity there is easier said than done.
I'd like to thank our friends at the Puffer Zone Network for rating us here in these final 20 laps or so. 15 to go, coming to 14 to go this time. Leighton Sabile, your race leader.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at this top 10 right now, I mean, how many of these guys have just been up front all day? Leighton Sabile comes to mind. Manan Raman, Ryan Vargas, Justin Malillo, Tristan Hagenstein. All these guys have been up front all day, just really consistent, avoiding all these wrecks that we've seen happening. And, most of these guys have really gotten whittled down, avoiding all the adversity. And with 14 to go, all of them really going to have a shot, except for Leighton Sabile and Raman, who will have to pit here.
Wellentime and Vargas. Right now, Chris Wetz sits in 9th. He is still the lead guy in the Dash for Cash $100 bonus for tonight. The closest guy next is Eckes. No, it's not actually. It's Sean Farr. He's far behind, back in the 18th spot. Then it's Moore in 22nd. He's drafting with Eckes. Both cars very damaged and off pace. They're actually within the same straightaway as the race leaders, and will likely get lapped if this race goes green all the way.
You have been on fire with these punts tonight. I just wanted to pat you on the back for those.
Well, I just work with what they give me.
Right now, I mean, coming up, coming to 12 to go. From what you've seen as we see these lapped cars who have all been really involved in incidents.
That's Jesse Love that's way off the pace. As the field's going to catch Parker Chase right here. Goes to the outside this time, which is, I think, the smarter decision. As long as he stays up there, and oh my God,
he's wrecked.
He just
wrecked. He's gonna come back down
into the pack. That's
Jake Pullen.
Are you kidding? And Nick Olson. Parker Chase, multiple laps down, just crashed into the lead pack.
Yeah, and to steal Jacob's thunder, that might need to be a part.
He was driving straight on the straightaway, and then the field comes by, and it just... What?
Oh, he was swerving inside the race car and hit the wall, came back down in the pack. Yeah, that's...
And now Jake Pullen, I think, just took out his frustration down the back straightaway and wiped him out. Very similar to what happened to Pullen. Pullen's race is done. His car destroyed.
Yeah, not the smartest move on Parker Chase's part there.
If you can't turn, you shouldn't be on the racetrack, no matter who you are. He was on the bottom last time and couldn't hold the line because it was so broke. This time he goes to the outside. He has all the room in the world up top. Pinches the field, wrecks it, and back down to the traffic. Nowhere for Olsen or Poulin to go, and Poulin definitely got the worst of that crash.
Yeah, and we'll get a replay here. You'll see he's just swerving on the outside. Just no real reason to be on the racetrack at this point. Multiple laps down, out of contention, and takes out Jake Poulin, who had been having a solid run tonight. Really unfortunate for Jake Poulin in the 0.
Well, this is a wild twist to this Talladega 212. The caution that the race leaders needed. Oh, he is still. We got beef. We are still. Trouble.
And
Turn
now
3.
Parker Chase
now
is
he's
driving
pushed
through.
him up the racetrack.
Yeah, this is you got to put an end to this.
Banging. I think both of them maybe should be parked, even if Poulin not at fault. This is. They are still going at it. It's a drag race.
Yeah, still side by side. We can call them to the garage stalls or the hall or wherever they're going.
Yeah, they're going to the Oval Office, I do believe, post race, or the big red truck, whatever you want to call it. I would hope they both pit here, and Poulin may not be done. No, he'll stay out, and Jonathan Palmeri will ask him to park the vehicle done for the night. So everybody, almost everybody, pits. Those that don't, Brad Perez, Ryan Pistana, Gabe Herschel, track position, track position, track position. The thought for those three now, they pitted late onto that last caution. So by Justin Malillo's theory, rather, he should be able to, they all three should be able to make it on fuel to the end.
Yeah, and I mean, we got caught up in all that beef, that entire caution period. But again, that was the caution that the leaders needed, that they weren't really expecting to get there. So now everybody really should have a shot at the win here. You got a few guys that haven't pitted again. Perez, Pistana, Herschel have all stayed out. But everybody on back, fresh tires. You know, take that last set, fill up on fuel. You'll be good to go to the end at this point.
Wow. Well, these guys go to Rockingham next week to continue the Dash for Cash.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be a fun race with some of the stuff that's transpired this week.
Yep. Then Indianapolis and then Hickory to wrap up the Dash for Cash season. Hickory, the last race before the playoffs begin for the UFL. As of right now, Corey Heim, 3 wins on the season, won the first 3 races at Charlotte, North Wilkesboro, and Kentucky. It was Austin Moore that won last week at Daytona, actually a couple of weeks ago at Daytona. That's what put him in the Dash for Cash, as well as Chris Wetz, Christian Eckes, and Sean Farr. At this moment, Chris Wetz is the guy, P8. Sean Farr is in 15th. Austin Moore is in 20th. Christian Eckes is in 19th. Eckes and Moore have been off pace for the last several laps and likely will not have a shot. Let's talk with the driver of the 0. And Jake, what happened?
I think everyone could see what happened there.
How about the how about the run for you tonight? Strong car. Looking toward the end of this deal, it looked like you were putting yourself in a solid position.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to take it easy there. We were all a little close on fuel, so we were just trying to save. I saw that the last time we lapped him, he did that same thing. Just tried to get close to everyone. So I'm guessing he had teammates that couldn't make it on fuel or something, and was just trying to be a menace. But and for someone like him, who's probably trying to, make a name for himself in real life, that's kind of embarrassing to be doing that kind of stuff.
Looking forward to rocking him next week, Jake?
Maybe. I don't know if I'll come back if we still have this stuff going on.
Well, thanks for your time, and we'll see you. It's Jake Poulin, very unhappy with the contact there with Parker Chase to bring out the caution flag. But here we go for the restart. Ryan Pistana on the outside. He is second. Brad Perez is your race leader. Chooses the inside line for this restart. We're going to have 8 laps to go here in the Talladega 212. Who wants to go to victory lane from Talladega? Green flag.
9 laps to go. Crunch time now. Brad Perez going to have Ryan Pistana and Gabe Herschel lined up behind him, but here comes Corey Heim, Leighton Sabile. They're hooked together on the outside, trying to make something happen now.
Here comes Pistana down on the inside. Heim with a big run on the outside. Help from Sabile and from Raman. These guys, for the most part, should be able to make it the distance on fuel. Definitely those that just pitted. For Perez, Pistana, and Herschel, it's questionable, but they should be fine. Corey Heim to the lead, but here comes Perez back on the bottom.
And right now, this outside lane consists of guys that we've seen up front all day. Oh, those top 3 going to merge back down in front of Brad Perez, and now they're going to have Salt Control led by Corey Heim, but that puts the outside lane into the hands of Ryan Vargas with Justin Melillo, Jonathan Palmeri, Matt Wishart, Acumano all back there. All very fast cars, and they're going to have a run off the high side, trying to make something happen.
He got a little squirrely there right behind Ryan Vargas. He's trying to stay in line, and Palmeri's going to shuffle him out of the deck. He's forced to drop back, drop to the outside line, and looks like he might be able to drop in behind Acumano. They all drop to the bottom, and that outside line fizzles to dust. Coming to 6 laps to go. Corey Heim still the leader, looking for win number 4 on the season. First one at a plate track. He came up short
Perez
last week, a couple weeks ago at Daytona. Here comes Perez to the outside. Ryan Vargas now to help. Couple of M&R pals on the outside, as well as Sabile on the bottom. He's got M&R experience. Corey Heim, he won in his first career M&R start. You got a lot of M&R guys here at the front of the field with 6 to go. Off of 2. Down the back straightaway. Brad Perez with the push. Vargas has Palmeri all over the back of him. Can't hit him square. And that might allow Heim to hold on to the lead for now.
Yeah, and right now, Perez, Vargas, and Palmeri on the outside, kind of in a dead heat with Corey Heim, Sabile, and Raman all on the inside. It's just a battle of timing, and when can you use that momentum to your advantage? As you see right there, Brad Perez almost cleared the inside of Corey Heim right there, just not enough. But they have the advantage heading down into 1.
5 to go. Perez was clear, didn't want to abandon Vargas at the altar. They'll stay together on the outside line. Blinker in the packets, Gabe Herschel on that outside line. Looks like he figured it out. The outside is a-coming. Perez is clear. Here comes Melillo pulling out
Vargas
for the wall,
clear,
trying to get around Herschel. Vargas clear for the moment, but he's got company on the bottom. He's going to stay high. Perez will stay high as well, and Corey Heim surging back on the bottom. Coming to 4 to go. Vargas shoots for the middle and almost puts Palmeri in the wall.
Yeah, Palmeri ducked out of line with that momentum he had, but that was not a good move. Acumano immediately left him, and now Palmeri going to get shuffled all the way to the back. Big block! Almost wrecks the field. Perez now going to get shuffled out of line, and now the race is in the hands of Leighton Sabile. Corey Heim and Ryan Vargas hooked up on the outside together.
Well, and Vargas was very generous to give Corey Heim room there and not turn him going into turn number 1 after the block he threw on both of them. Here comes Ryan Pistana. Have it your way, he says. Here comes that 45, all alone on the bottom with Tristan Hagenstein looking for the lead, while you got the 44 of Rahman on the outside with Sabile looking for the lead. They've got it for now, coming to 3 laps to go at Talladega.
Yeah, Vargas going to push the limits, make it 3 wide. Gabe Herschel with Justin Melillo coming through the middle. Melillo going to go with Vargas. Now Herschel left to kind of be in the middle. Big run coming, though, from Matt Wishart, Brad Perez, John Palmieri. These 3 have been working together all race, and here they go now trying to get a line formed up. Corey Heim going to join them.
Corey.
Oh, big blocks now. Gabe Herschel coming through the middle.
Here comes Herschel, big run with the 32 of Wishart. Sabile blocks, blinking. All good for now. Sabile continues to protect that bottom side. He holds on to the lead. Now here comes Wishart up the middle. He's got help from Perez and Palmieri. A big gap on that inside line is going to allow the middle line to close. Here comes Matt Wishart round the outside, through the middle, taking the lead, coming to 2 laps to go.
And that's the classic. Where did he come from? Matt Wishart, Brad Perez, John Palmieri going to dip down to the inside, leave the guy he's been working with his entire time. Corey Heim going to go with Palmieri as well. And now John Palmieri is going to inherit the lead from Matt Wishart. How can it get better than this?
Palmieri goes up to the outside. He blocks Wishart. Here comes Heim down to the bottom. He's got help from the 25 of Sabile. Here comes the 60 Brad Perez, 3 wide on the outside. Here comes Corey Heim, shot out of a cannon down on the bottom. Acumano gets a little squirrely there in the middle, but he holds on. Corey Heim back out in front. Here they come off turn 4. Coming to the white flag. He has 3 wins on the season, looking for win number 4. Your point leader. Gonna try to survive 2.66 miles here at Talladega. White flag in the wind. It's the bell lap of the Talladega 212.
Here comes John Palmieri with Matt Wishart once again on the outside. He doesn't want to let Corey Heim go 4 for 5. Coming through turn number 2 for the final time with Matt Wishart. Acumano hooked to the back end of him. They almost get wrecked in the back. Still a dead heat as they wreck. Here comes Palmieri. He still has the momentum. That bottom line might be dying. Here comes Matt Wishart. Palmieri goes to the inside. Turns 3 and 4 for the final time.
Protecting that inside line may have been the move. Palmieri gets turned by Corey Heim. Heim's going to save it. It's going to be a drag race coming off turn 4. Sabile all over the back bumper, the 51. Here comes Wishart on the outside. Contact. Here comes Sabile. They're 3 wide. Acumano on the outside, 3 wide. They're crashing in the background. Side by side of the finish line. Matt Wishart wins at Talladega by a nose over Leighton Sabile in a photo finish. Matt Wishart gets his first win on the season. And
Matt Wishart.
Chris Wetz wins the Dash for Cash, finishing in 12th.
What a finish from Talladega. We thought it was in John Palmieri's hands until he gets turned coming out of turn number 4. Then it's a drag race, and Matt Wishart somehow holds off a hard-charging Leighton Sabile to collect the win, his first of the season here in the Untitled Friends League. Wow.
Leighton Sabile coming home 10 one-thousandths of a second. I can't read. 10 one-thousandths of a second short. Just 1 100th. Matt Wishart, the winner. Peter Acumano stumbling home to 3rd place. Corey Heim, Ryan Vargas rounding out the top 5. Sabile almost had it. Coming to the finish line with a big push from Corey Heim. Heim was up next to Acumano entering the tri-oval. By the exit of the tri-oval, he had dropped down, was on the apron, pushing Sabile to the checkered flag.
Yeah, and Matt Wishart there opts to go around the racetrack and catch your breath. Wow, I mean, what a finish. Was not expecting that. Congrats to Matt Wishart. Wow.
Let's talk with our race winner, Matt Wishart. Holy cow. How about that for a finish? Take us through those last 2 laps.
Honestly, with like 5 or 6 to go, I wasn't sure if they were going to wreck again. So I was trying to hang back a little bit. But when I realized we were probably going to make it to the finish, I was like, I got to go. And the seas started parting when people started trying to block other lanes and things like that. I had Brad behind me. He pushed me all the way up to there, and then he got shuffled out. So then I had Pete. Luckily, it stayed up behind me and kept shoving me through the last couple corners after John got shuffled out on the bottom. But yeah, like that was a heart racing moment for sure.
You had a lot of cars that you really worked together well with tonight. Amongst them, John Palmeri, who finished back in that 13th spot. You two would hook up together, and just like that, you'd be in the top 5.
Yeah, me and John have been doing super speedway racing for about a decade now, and we realized pretty fast that if we get hooked up together, we have the same general mindset and general idea of what we're wanting to do. So it's taken a little while for it to come to fruition in iRacing over NR 2003, though. So that was nice to see tonight that it was kind of back.
And how about this first win on the season? Getting to put yourself in position here for the playoffs coming up, plus the Dash for Cash next week from Rockingham.
Yes, that's probably not going to go well for me because Rockingham isn't nice to me, but I'll be there.
Well, congratulations on the race win, Matt, and best of luck to you next week from Rockingham, and go celebrate this one. Hard-fought win.
All right, thank you, Jacob. Thank you, guys.
Matt Wishart, your winner tonight from Talladega. Now, second place finisher Leighton Sabile with Caleb Hoffman.
Leighton, you had the car to beat, it felt like. Absolutely dominating performance from you. Just couldn't close it out in the end with a big run that's kind of stalled out in the tri-oval. Talk us through the last few laps from your eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I thought honestly that was one of the funnest races of the season so far. We had some really good battles up front, and I felt like working with my teammates there, Corey Heim and Mon and Raman, we were really able to kind of take control of the race for the majority of it. Getting down towards the end there, we kind of got split up, and it was tough because everyone was all going for themselves, obviously. And once we kind of got split up, then we were kind of having to go into a panic mode. And by the time that Corey and I got hooked back up, man, I was blowing water down the backstretch. I mean, I was blinking for half the straightaway there on my water temp, and so I was like, Corey, I can't push you here, man. I got to back off, but we'll be okay, because once John cleared us there, I knew that we were going to be able to get another run at it. And unfortunately, I feel bad for John because Corey did not mean to turn him there. I mean, I felt horrible for him, but we come onto the front stretch there, and I knew, seeing that 6 car in my mirror, that he was going to try to take me on the apron. So I threw a massive block, and I knew I wasn't going to have anything for the leader unless I doored him, and I don't really race like that. So I kind of wanted to just run it clean, and it just wasn't enough there at the end. But hey, we're qualified for Dash for Cash, and this Toughco Chevrolet was as fast as Xfinity Internet, I guess. But yeah, no, it was good. I mean, the Hog Tamer Motorsports, we really had a control on the race. I felt like I just hated that Christian Eckes couldn't have won that $100 tonight. I felt like he had a good shot at it and just got taken out early on. So, but just want to thank all my teammates for working with me, and John for putting on the series, and you guys for coming in here and broadcasting tonight. That's pretty cool. Hope whoever was watching had a good time, because I had a good time in the car.
Absolutely. Looking forward to Rockingham next week, watching you compete for that $100. Congratulations on a second place finish tonight, and thank you so much for your time. We'll send it back to Jacob.
Thanks, guys.
How about our third place finisher tonight, Peter Accumano, riding around up front all night long. Right place, right time there at the very end?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. Not often super speedways really go my way. Pretty close to win there. Just was a blast to run around all night. I mean, I didn't know how it was going to go down there at the end, but just held strong and finished strong, I guess.
Coming home P3, eligible for the Dash for Cash next week when we go to Rockingham. What's on your mind going into that race? Completely different there than it is here at Talladega.
I mean, man, this is good momentum for me. I like Rockingham a lot. I've been pretty successful there in the past, so I think I got a shot for it.
Well, congratulations on the top 3 finish. Best of luck with the Dash for Cash next week from Rockingham.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Your third place finisher tonight from Talladega, Peter Accumano. That's our top 3. Let's go run down through the... well, actually, let's do a replay first, I guess, of the finish of the multiple wrecks on the last lap. The first one was Rahman getting turned around off of turn number 2. We saw him there for a moment. There he is. But it's before that. And, yeah, so here we go. This is the last lap. And he's going to get turned sideways, Caleb.
Yeah, you'll see it right here. Just big run coming through the middle. That bottom lane gets stacked up just a little bit. And just a stack-up effect here. You see that number 45 machine slides right down into him. Nothing really you can do in that situation. And he comes to a rest right there.
The leaders are full steam ahead coming to the finish line. Oh, more trouble. Oh, car
upside down, Eric
Webler. Horrific. This is everybody else. Webler gets turned into the wall hard and up and over into the catch fence. On top of Jesse Love. That's the second one that's been on top of Jesse Love tonight.
Yeah, Eric Webler channeling the Jeff Gordon from the Pro Invitational a few years ago, right in that exact spot. Yeah, Eric Webler was upside down right there, and then we'll cut to what we saw live.
I was going to say, meanwhile, the leaders are full steam ahead, and Corey Heim makes contact with Wishart, goes up, tries to side draft Accumano, realizes that's not going to work, so he drops down right in front of Vargas, picks up Sabile, and tries to push him to the win. And Brad Perez, you know how we talk about the start-finish line being at a weird place? If the start-finish line was in turn 1, Brad Perez would have won this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Matt Wishart there with a really underrated move as well. You saw Leighton Sabile with a huge run coming on the apron. Matt Wishart moving down to squeeze all that momentum out of that number 25 machine. Definitely the MVP move that won him this race. You'll see it right here. Just squeezes him down just at the very end. Takes all that momentum that he had from Corey Heim. And is the reason Matt Wishart will be in victory lane tonight and not Leighton Sabile. Hard-fought victory from Matt Wishart there. And we'll get into the results here.
Wishart, your winner. Sabile in second. Accumano in third. Corey Heim finishes fourth. Ryan Vargas finishes fifth. Brad Perez sixth. Justin Melillo 7th. Andrew Schwartz finishes 8th. Gabe Herschel 9th. Dylan Poteet rounding out the top 10.
We'll take a look at position number 11. Tristan Hagenstein had a great run tonight. Chris Wetz, your Dash for Cash winner. Jonathan Palmieri, tough break for him, getting turned on the final lap, finishes 13th. Christian Eckes rebounds to get a 14th. Nick Olson, who was involved in a few accidents, in 15th. Monin Rahman in the 17th position, Jesse Love, who again had a few cars on top of him tonight, come home in 18th. And then Sean Farr and then Anthony Rotolo round out your top 20.
21st belongs to Adam Kodal, Austin Moore in 22nd, Eric Webler 23rd. Everybody else a lap down, including Webler. Jonathan Taylor 24th, 7 laps down. Case Kallenbach in 25th. Jake Pullen, we talked with him about his frustrating end of the night. He finishes 26th. Parker Chase finishes 27th. Mark Sebitka finishes 28th. Kevin Reed finishes 29th. Rajah Caruth, an early exit, finishes in 30th. Your final, one. Arnold Columbia did make a couple of laps, and Preston Pardis, who was involved in that first crash, finishes 32nd. Jack Wood did not start tonight's race. Final thoughts, Caleb, on a wild night.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely got our money's worth. I feel like you saw so much raciness at the first few stints. Got a little calm towards the middle, but then tension started to pick up, started to boil over. We had everything in this race. We had pack racing, big ones, spectacular flips. We had beef even at Talladega. I mean, what more could you want? A great showing for the UFL, and we will see how they fare next week at Rockingham. Great race tonight.
A wild night, no doubt about it. Here from Talladega. Coming up next on FTF.GG tomorrow, 600 miles, 400 laps from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the World 600 supporting Speedway Children's Charities. Blake McCandless hosting. I'll be alongside. The booth will be like 15 people long again, like qualifying was last night. It'll be a lot of fun. 8 o'clock start on ERL Racing. And on FTF.GG. In the meantime, FTF, the Bar Visual Cup Series, is off from this network. It'll be on Bottom Split on Saturday night from New Hampshire. We come back on Sunday with Winsdale from New Hampshire. Next week, I got to think for a moment. So Wednesday, ERL is back from Eldora with the Dirt Modifieds, and then a week from tomorrow night, the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series returns from Pocono. It'll be a lot of fun, and you'll catch that all and more right here on FTF.GG. For the folks at the Untitled Friends Ling, for our producer Zach Johnson, and for Caleb Hoffman alongside me, I'm Jacob Pitts. Thank you so much for watching. Matt Wishart, your winner of the Talladega 212. Good night.